How's it going, everybody? Today, we're going to talk about building a strong portfolio that gets you work. I guess we do have some newbies. Typically, my things are full of people who've done my stuff before, which should tell you something. Thanks for all my grads and people who have just even done 1 or 2 classes with me, and all the newbies to check out. It's not really a Q&A kind of thing. It's just me just thinking about stuff and all the dozens of questions I get asked pretty much on a daily basis. People asking for advice, and I know I've talked about this before. People go, it's just one question, but your one question is 2 hours of conversation I want to have with you. So I do business mentoring and portfolio reviews and all that for people that are interested. So when I do these, I'm just trying to answer as much as I can squeeze into the 30 minutes that we have for this. So what are we going to talk about today? Building strong portfolio to get your work. It's crazy surprising to me that so many makeup artists or aspiring makeup artists or working makeup artists who honestly don't know what it takes, don't know what should be in their book. And I know I've talked about the first thing I'm going to say in lots of my classes, and in fact just about every speaking gig I ever have done at the International Makeup Artist Trade Show and the Makeup Show and the Beauty Expo, whatever, Fame Expo, all of these shows that I spoke on stage, I squeeze it into as many seminars and things as I can because it's so critical, and so many people, even though they see it and they've even heard me say it, when I see their book years later, they're still not doing it. So I want to start with that. Although I don't have pictures and visuals, you have to figure out what I'm talking about, I suppose. If you're one of my grads, I know you know. But you need to have a range in your book, of course. You need to be showcasing what you do. It's a really big mistake for makeup artists to go, well, I want to specialize in fashion, at the beginning. Okay, that's great for you someday. But at the beginning, you just have to do everything you can do. You got to make your way into fashion, and by doing that is appealing to all your other clients that could be paying you meanwhile. You can't just say, I want to make the girls pretty. If you do TV and film, you have to know injuries and everything else. So same thing when you do print. You can't just do the kind of makeup you like, Pat McGrath has done plenty of clean beauty makeups in her lifetime before she ever was famous for doing high fashion. So you have to put in your dues, if you will. Kind of makes sense. I know people think it makes sense, but doesn't mean they practice what they preach or what they know. So besides clean beauty, a lot of basic beauty work, that is about 85% of the work that you're going to qualify for in your lifetime. So of course that should be the strongest representation in your book. Fashion, high fashion, if you've got a bunch of high fashion, a bunch of glitter, a bunch of face painting, a bunch of, crazy dinkle ball lashes that I always talk about, for every one of those pictures, you need to have at least 20 strong beauty pictures. And if you've got, 4 or 5 high fashion looks or even strong fashion, you need to take them down until you get some really great high quality beauty images. And so many people don't even understand what beauty images are. Even some photographers, surprisingly enough, don't know. They just think beauty means a close-up. And that's not what it means. A beauty story, mind you, in a magazine, a beauty editorial would be close-ups. But a beauty makeup is different than a beauty image, technically. So I'm talking about your portfolio. I'm talking about what's going to get you work. And that's what's going to showcase your work the most. So, hit the brakes on all the crazy shit y'all are out there doing, trying to, master 8 pounds of contour and all that. That is not going to get you the paid work. That's going to get you the discount bride from Craigslist, that's going to shop around and get 5 other versions of 5 pounds of contour first. Is that really the clientele you're looking for? Then knock yourself out, because nobody else wants her. So anyway, you need to have a range, okay? And you really need to look at your book and ask yourself, well, thanks, Rocio. I just saw your comment. You're so sweet. You really need to look at your book and ask yourself, if I didn't even know me, and I was a potential client, what would I think this makeup artist was best at? What would I think she specialized in? And if they can't guess, your portfolio is probably just a little all over the place. There's a difference in representing everything you can do and just being all over the place. So, for example, you don't have any black and white in your book. That's a problem. So, you can turn some prints into black and white just to have some black and white, because if you're submitting your book for somebody who's just really just doing a newspaper ad, that can still be a well-paid job sometimes, but it's just going to be the newspaper. So if you don't even have a black and white, they don't know that you don't know, what's going on. So of course you have to have basic beauty, clean beauty, fashion. You can ditch high fashion altogether in a portfolio to be really honest and qualify for more work. And some black and white. Of course, you need some men's grooming. You need a little bit of everything. Not to mention, you really need. Hi, Noemi. You really need. Now I lost my train of thought. Damn, you know what I mean. What was I going to say? You need all different skin tones and coloring. If your book is just full of blondes because you got a blonde fetish, no one's going to think you know how to do a brunette or somebody with brown eyes. So, of course, you need all different skin tones, all different hair colors, all different eye colors. Some people go as far as saying you need all different ages. I don't agree. If you get a celebrity mature booking or an editorial or, some catalog work that's, you don't want to put catalog work in a portfolio. Some people don't know that either. But you could maybe get the original, once it's printed and published, from a photographer of an attractive, mature model that you did, that there's still a very well printing, good printing, good lighting, all that. Okay, then you can throw in perhaps a mature at the beginning, but it's not really necessary. People think, I have to have kids and I have to have all this. Not so much. You have to have the makeup looks that you're going to basically do. Represent different skin tones, throw in your black and white, throw in men's grooming, and that is going to be really good for you. Hi, Dusty. You remember this, right, from like 20 years ago? Seems like, okay, not that long ago, but a long time ago. Okay, what else do I want to talk about before we run out of time? I didn't pay attention to what time we started, so I'm not sure how much time I have. I know it gives me like a 2-minute warning or something at the end. Those of you who've watched before know it goes really fast for me. So besides having a range and making sure that your work is, it has almost been 20 years. Okay. So many portfolios, and I even see this from some of my grads now and then, and it's disturbing, I have to admit. And so you are, some of them might be watching. I doubt it, because those are the ones that think they know everything, who forgot everything. Is when people are doing all this Instagram stuff, meaning, the eyes closed pictures. The whole here's your makeup, and here's your makeup. You're looking down or whatever. I'm sorry, but nobody gives a shit what you look like with your eyes closed. No one walks around with their eyes closed. That is not the purpose we don't do makeup for their eye closed. We do makeup for their eye open. Period, point blank, end of story. You are never going to see that in an agency portfolio. You're never going to see that in an ad for, anything from computers to, Coach handbags to cosmetics. Stop already. The only people you're appealing to, if you're doing that, is, again, your budget person who, loves YouTube videos and watches all that. Okay, sure. If that's your target client, if getting 1 million likes and wow, you're great comments pays your bills, keep doing it. That's my thing. Okay, so most of you know, if you haven't done my classes, looks like there's quite a few newbies out there. Everything I say is based on fact and truth. And my grads do listen to me, because they don't all listen. They sit through my classes. It doesn't mean they do what I say. Those that do what I say work. I mean, I can see quite a few of them on here, because the people that have realized the validity of what I'm saying and believe in themselves enough to go out there and do it, they are signed with agencies. They are working all the time. You're doing big things. So I'm rambling, but you get the idea. No eye closed pictures. How many of you know you got some? Maybe if you're dealing with everyday public and you're still just trying to get business rolling with, prom girls, or if you're in Australia, they call it balls. So if you're trying to get stuff like that and a lower end bride, okay, some of them will, I don't think anyone will ask for it, to be really honest, because it really doesn't matter. It's just what people who don't know anything about our industry think our industry is about. So for every person who puts those pictures out, they're doing it because they see other people doing it. What they don't realize is those really aren't people that are working, very little. If they are, not charging very much. So it's up to you guys. If that's the career you want to emulate, sure, knock yourself out and keep doing it. Every time I see one, I just want to die. It hurts my heart. I feel so sorry for that artist. I think they don't realize that they're keeping themselves at a certain level and they won't progress. Because for every time you post those pictures, there's really good photographers that may be watching your career that'll go, oh, she's one of those. And they're just going to delete you off your friends list, make room for real artists. So, seriously, if you're the one that posts those pictures, you don't realize that people higher than you, that you hope to work with someday, are ruling you out over stuff like that. And I'm not even joking. Ask some photographers if you don't believe me. And anyone who says it's not true isn't a good photographer. I'd bet $1 million. A lot of you are probably working with the same photographer. That's what I see a lot. People who think they're ready for an agency, and it's like your whole book is one photographer. Oh, yeah, he's a friend of mine. No shit. So a friend of yours isn't doing you any justice. If he's amazing, I don't care if it's David LaChapelle. You can't have every single picture in your book David LaChapelle because he has one aesthetic, and it makes you look limited if that's the only style that's the only type of lighting you're used to working with. That actually is hurtful for you in the end. Okay, last thing then, most importantly, is how to do proper testing. People don't like to hear the word test because we've all done testing and we've all been burned. Got low resolution images or just, we've been burned. We've all been burned. But you know whose fault that is? Yours and mine when it happened to me. So you have to learn how to test properly. You don't just show up when a photographer says, hey, you want to do something? And that's the biggest mistake. So most of us want to complain that the photographer sucked, the model sucked, and all that, when the truth is we had no business showing up until we knew what the hell we were volunteering our time for. So a test is what's known as a volunteering of time from all parties, to get what they need for their book. So if you show up and a photographer tells what you want to do and it's nothing that you need for your book, well, again, that's your own fault. All of that needs to be discussed before. But better yet, in my longer detailed classes on marketing, my grads know I teach you how to test. I teach you how to come up with a concept and contact the right photographer, book the right model, the right face for the looks you want, the looks you need. So, that's hours and hours of conversation. So in 30 minutes, of course, I can't explain all of that. But for those of you that, think you can do it, then go for it. You have to know what you want, like you're on a mission. So, if you need, for example, a left-facing photo with some turquoise in it, because the picture next to it you love, every time you put something else next to it in your book, it looks stupid. Nothing works with it. Like sometimes you literally have to be that detailed as to what you're doing. Some of you at the beginning, you just need good beauty shots. So you're just anything you can get that's good, and then you go from there. But once you've really built your book, there's times where you literally specifically need something that won't overpower this image, that has to still be soft lighting or, dismal lighting or dramatic, a blue tint, whatever it is. You really have to get that detailed. That is something that I was going to do in this next series of classes, though, that I've announced. But it seemed like a lot of people didn't comment on that one. It seemed like a lot of people had interest in men's grooming, which of course is good. But the whole putting your portfolio together is really critical. Anyway, so testing. I would love to know how many of you out there are putting together your own tests. Janet says, my tests are treated like jobs. Real production, no bullshit. Exactly. And Janet is like super successful. Agency signed, one of my grads. So I hope that you guys are motivated to put some tests together, or at least think about what you need, and putting together a good, strong inspiration book so you can create that. I know that Mana had typed when I said, who wants to do a last-minute class, that you were researching agencies all day. And that made me smile because that's actually my next wisdom webinar that I'm doing. So if anybody out there is looking to get signed, wants to get signed, or you just know in the future that's your goal, nothing better than working towards your future correctly than just 2 years from now wondering why you're still not signed with an agency. So if there's anybody out there who that's their goal, they would like to do that. They want to start doing the bigger ticket work, celebrity work, major editorial campaigns, more covers, blah, blah, blah. Who doesn't, right? Red carpet. That'll be the next webinars that I do. So I was doing wisdom webinars, mostly business and marketing and how to achieve success. I was doing one a month in the first 5 or 6 months, I think. But the last few months, those of you who know the craziness in my life, again, I have to move, which will be the 6th time since January. So I didn't do one this month. I did a couple of these free ones to hold you guys over on purpose. For those of you that have already bought the whole year series of the wisdom webinars, for those of you that are, just realizing you're not getting where you want to go in your career, that's something you might think about. Jen Ellis, my assistant in Perth, Australia, she could tell you more about the series of wisdom webinars. But the next one is going to be scheduled for California time, so I know you guys are from all over the world. It will be Sunday, August 14th. They're 2 hours long, and it's $110, so it'll be the best $60 an hour you've ever spent. And if you get the recording later, it's more. The recording is a lot more work for us to figure out the software and code it and give you a password and email, back and forth, all that. So you need more Donna in my miss you, Tatiana. So that will be the next one, if anybody's interested in that for August. My last thing was in December in Australia, and right before that, New Zealand. So I'll sign up here and actually say goodbye before it cuts me off and have a weird look on my face like normal. And I'll sign back in and we can talk about some advanced classes for those of you that are interested in different locations. Okay? Bye-bye.